Welcome back. We continue right here on the #1 Cochran Sports Showdown. Jeff Hathhorn, this defense has some really good things to it. I mean, they intercept and force turnovers. They've done that in many, many games in a row, but they're giving up big plays on third down. Seems to me like they're blitzing a lot on first down, second down to set up down and distance for third down, and then they're calling off the dogs on third down. Is that the right way to go? Because Philadelphia attacked it on third down.
Well, as much as the third down conversions were a positive for the Steelers offense, man, what a negative for the Steelers D. They allowed 71% of third down conversions. They got burned on that Miles Sanders play where they were blocked too well. They couldn't get off blocks downfield. Now, let's say this too. A lot of defenses around the league are struggling. Scoring is up, but this Philadelphia team was minus some key players. They should have played better. Some of the coverage issues, man, when they get into this week, and I know we're going to discuss Cleveland, they present some concerns. If you can't hold Travis, Fulgham or whatever his name was.
Fulgham, yeah, he's
10
really
catches,
good.
152 yards. Wow.
Folsom Prison.
Yeah, well, they finally put Joe Hayden on them there a little bit towards the end of the game. Now, at the beginning of the year, secondary was not an issue for me. I thought that was the strength of this team. But now it becomes apparent that, I think that is a question mark right now. Where has Minkah Fitzpatrick been? He had a couple times he could have wrapped guys up and he just bounced off guys. Now maybe they're playing away from this guy, but it's not the strength. I understand it's a passing league, and now teams are going to start seeing this and attacking the Steelers that way. But the big thing that was concerning today, 10 straight third down conversions against this defense, and they want to hold people to 17 points or less, and today wasn't even close.
Yeah, I'm a little concerned about the cornerback position, both of them, because it's such an important position on this team. They were so good last year. Both Hayden and Nelson, one of them was Pro Bowl, the other one, put up same numbers as Stephon Gilmore. And now, if last year was a little bit of a fluke, they're taking a step back. Now, all of a sudden, how long do you stick with that? Or do you all of a sudden now have to change what you do up front with the front seven and maybe not blitz as much, maybe play a little bit more zone? I don't know. They won, so maybe you can, fix it while you're winning is good. But I think it's something you definitely have to keep an eye on. Not so much Minkah, not so much Terrell Edmonds, but I'm a little bit worried about the two cornerbacks and the nickel back and Mike Hilton and their coverage skills, and see if this moves forward like this. If not, they're going to have to, if it keeps up like this, they're going to have to make some changes from their front seven and how they scheme up some things.
Now the schedule coming up. We have a lot of interesting games, including the Ravens, and 3 weeks before that the Titans, but next week it is Cleveland. So when you look at this, Rich, you got a Cleveland Browns team that's capable of moving down the field. They've got a good run game even without Chubb, who's out for a couple of weeks at least. But to me, if I'm looking at the Steelers, I know where I'm going to attack them, and I would imagine that they would do the same. What do the Steelers have to do to change that and stop Baker Mayfield?
I still think that the Browns are paper champions. I want to see them come in here and beat the Steelers. That's what I want to see this weekend. I don't think it's going to happen. I like the Steelers in this game. This is a game that the Steelers get up for. And look, the Steelers' offense is totally different this year compared to last year. They can score points at will, it seems like. This goes back to like 2018, that offense that we saw. And Ben Roethlisberger is not making mistakes. So think about how good this offense can be. And this offense could basically cover the mistakes of the defense if it's not playing well. I like the Steelers in this game coming up against the Browns because I still don't think the Browns are for real. I just don't. I'm not a huge fan of Baker Mayfield.
Well, I mean, you could say who have the Browns beaten, but you could also say the same thing about the Steelers. Who have the Steelers beaten? I mean, you play a Colts team that had a pretty good defense. You put over 30 points on them. I think what, Kevin Stefanski has done is he's controlled Baker Mayfield to the point where Baker doesn't have to make every play. He's making smarter throws. He's a smarter quarterback than he was in the past, especially last year. And they've got some weapons. I mean, you want to win Odell Beckham and Landry, and those guys were all going to click together, along with Kareem Hunt. I think they're a dangerous offensive football team, and they also have a couple of playmakers on that defense. We'll find out coming up next Sunday, but I do think this Browns team is legit. I mean, they're a good football team. I'm not saying they're going to win a Super Bowl, but they're going to be in the hunt for the postseason into December.
Well, Baker Mayfield, just like every other quarterback, is as good as they are until somebody smacks them in the mouth, and that's what the Steelers are going to have to do next week. And it's going to be a little bit tougher than normal because their offensive line in Cleveland is pretty good. But I think what we're tend to forget about right here is we're just thinking offense here. The Browns defenses give up a ton of points to the Colts, a ton of points to the Cowboys. They have not been nowhere near as good as they were last year. So maybe this game has to turn out to, who gets that one stop. Maybe it's very similar to what happened on Sunday here with the Eagles game. Maybe it's a shootout. And if it's a shootout, I like the Steelers' chances as well. I mean, I remember the last time the Browns won here. I think it was 2003 on a Thursday night.
Yeah.
It's been that long. And I think Baker Mayfield, if they're going to win this game Sunday, he would have to win it for him.
Well, we're going to learn a lot about the Steelers in the next couple of weeks. They got a 4-1 Cleveland team. They have Tennessee, which still hasn't lost, although they haven't played in a while either. Then you got the Ravens, who won again today, and then Dallas, although Dak Prescott likely is out after he suffered his injury. So we'll see. Steelers open at 4.5-point favorites next week against the Browns here in town. When we come back, we're going to get into the Pitt Panthers and what's happened to them. Also, the Pittsburgh Penguins. They're changing their roster. We'll talk about it next.